Right now, somewhere near you, a vending machine is humming in the corner of a break room or a laundromat. Someone just walked up, tapped their phone, grabbed a bag of chips and walked away. It looks like one of the safest, easiest side hustles on the planet, but it isn't. By the time that machine needs its next restock, it will have bled money in at least 4 or 5 invisible ways, and almost nobody buying from it, including most of the people who actually own them, has any idea it's happening. Vending is one of the most misunderstood micro businesses that exist. Everyone assumes a plugged-in machine means a profitable one. It doesn't. What's actually happening behind that glass is one of the thinnest, most exposed operations in retail, and none of it is visible from where you're standing in the hallway. I get why people get sucked into this. The internet tells you it's passive income. You drop a machine in an office building, sit on your couch and watch the cash roll in. And look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you the business is a scam, because it isn't. People do make real money doing this, but they do it by treating it like a ruthless, numbers-driven retail operation, not a magic ATM. They know the exact math down to the penny. They know how to fight off the silent profit killers, and they know how to scale so they aren't driving across town just to make $3 an hour. If you've ever even thought about throwing a few grand into a vending machine, you need to know the actual economics before you spend a dime. Today, we are pulling back the curtain. We're breaking down every single cost, the upfront cash, the monthly drains, the card readers that quietly eat your margins, and the exact math that tells you how long it really takes to break even. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how this game is played and whether you should actually be putting your money into it. Let's get into it. Let's start with the money you have to spend before you make a single dime. In the business world, this is called CapEx, or capital expenditures, and in vending, the upfront cost is the first filter that weeds out the people who are serious from the people who just watched a TikTok video. First up is the machine itself. You can go on Facebook Marketplace right now and find an old beat-up machine for maybe $800, but economically you have to factor in the hidden cost of repairs. A brand new, reliable machine with a modern credit card reader built in is going to run you anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000. Then you have the inventory. You can't just buy a machine and leave it empty. Your first stock run, sodas, snacks, chips, water, is going to cost you about $300 to $500. Next, you need to make it legal. Setting up an LLC is going to run you around $150 depending on your state, and you need liability insurance because if a kid tips a machine over or someone gets sick from your expired sandwich, you need a corporate shield between your business and your personal bank account. But here is the tech cost that so many beginners miss, the card reader. Because we live in a cashless society, a card reader isn't a luxury anymore, it's a requirement. According to a recent Pew Research study, roughly 41% of Americans say none of their purchases in a typical week are made using cash. If you don't have a card reader on your machine, you're voluntarily cutting your potential customer base in half before you even start. The reader hardware itself often requires an upfront deposit or a monthly software fee. When you add up a decent machine, initial inventory, legal fees, and tech, you are looking at a realistic $4,000 to $5,500 just to get the keys to your micro store. Okay, so you've spent $5,000. You have a shiny machine. Now what? Well, the best machine in the world makes exactly $0 sitting in your garage. You need a real estate. Securing a location is essentially a mini commercial real estate negotiation. Economically, there are 3 ways you can pay for a location. The first is a flat rent. You agree to pay an office manager or a business owner $50 a month to park your machine in their break room. The second is a commission model where you agree to give the business owner a percentage of your gross sales, usually 5% to 10%. The third, and the holy grail of vending, is a free placement. This happens when a business doesn't care about the money. They just want a perk for their employees or customers, so they let you put it there for free. But how do you know if a spot is actually good? This is where we look at the conversion rate. In traditional retail, a good location converts about 1% to 3% of its daily foot traffic into a sale. Let's say you put your machine in an office building with 100 employees. At a 2% conversion rate, you're looking at maybe 1 or 2 sales a day. If you put it in a high traffic laundromat with 50 people a day, you might get 1 sale. You have to choose your real estate like your rent depends on it, because it literally does. You need locations where people are trapped, hungry, or thirsty. Now, let's say you found the perfect spot. The machine is plugged in. This is where we hit the monthly drain. Operating expenses, or OPEX. This is where the vending machine business silently bleeds money. Let's break down the economics of a single sale. Let's say you sell a bottle of Coca-Cola for $2. You bought it in bulk at Sam's Club for 80 cents. You look at that and think, I just made $1.20 in pure profit. Wrong, because nobody carries cash anymore. When that customer taps their phone, a chain reaction happens. The card processor charges an interchange fee. This is a mechanism where they charge a flat fee, say 10 cents plus a percentage of the sale, like 2.5%. So on your $2 Coke, the processor takes 15 cents. Now you're down to $1.05. But wait, there's more. You have to drive to the location to restock that Coke. That's gas money. That's wear and tear on your car. That's 30 minutes of your time to drive there, unlock the machine, stock the soda, and drive home. Oh, and don't forget that monthly liability insurance premium we talked about. When you divide all those operating expenses across your daily sales, that $1.20 profit shrinks down to something closer to 60 cents. And if you finance the machine, you have a monthly loan payment eating into that too. So let's run the actual math. Let's look at the return on investment, or ROI. Imagine you have one machine in a pretty decent office building. It does an average of 5 sales a day at an average ticket price of $2. That's $10 a day or $300 a month in gross revenue. And now we subtract the OPEX. Your cost of goods sold, the actual snacks and drinks, is roughly 40% of your revenue. So that's $120 gone. Your card processing fees and telemetry software take another $30. You're left with a net profit of $150 a month. Now let's apply the payback period formula. This is a corporate finance concept where you divide your initial capital expenditure by your annual net cash flow. You spent $4,000 to get started. You are making $150 a month, which is $1,800 a year. Divide $4,000 by $1,800 and you get about 2.2 years. That is over 2 years just to break even on one machine, and that's assuming nothing breaks. This is exactly why nobody gets rich off one vending machine. The economics of a single unit are just too thin. But wait, the math we just did assumes everything goes perfectly. It won't. Welcome to the hidden economics, shrinkage, spoilage, and risk. In traditional retail, shrinkage, lost inventory, is about 1.5%. In unattended retail like vending, it's much higher. You have product risk, which is spoilage. If you decide to get fancy and stock fresh sandwiches or protein milks, you have a 3-day shelf life. If they don't sell, you don't just lose the product, you lose the cash you spent on it, and you have to drive there to throw it away and clean the machine. Stick to non-perishables like chips and cans. Then you have the stuck coil effect. This is a silent killer. Imagine a bag of Doritos gets hung up on the metal coil. The customer taps their card, the coil turns, but the bag doesn't drop. The customer gets mad, kicks the machine, and leaves empty-handed. Not only did you lose a sale, but you now have to physically go to the machine to refund that customer's card to protect your reviews, and the bag is still stuck there, blocking the next sale. Between stuck coils, expired products, and straight-up vandalism, shrinkage in vending can quietly eat 3 to 5% of your gross revenue if you aren't obsessively managing it. So if one machine takes 2 years to break even and bleeds money through shrinkage, like how do people actually make a living doing this? How does this become a real business? And the answer is scale. The economics of vending only make sense when you hit economies of scale. You don't want one machine, you want 10 or 20, because as you buy more machines, your fixed costs, like your monthly insurance premium or the time you spend driving to the warehouse to buy inventory, spread out over more revenue generating units. But how do you restock 10 machines across the city without working 40 hours a week? You use telemetry. Telemetry is a cellular module that plugs into your machine's computer board. It uses something called the DEX protocol, a data exchange standard used in vending to send real-time inventory data straight to an app on your phone. Instead of driving to a location, unlocking the machine and realizing it only needs 3 Cokes and a bag of chips, telemetry tells your phone exactly what's sold and what's out of stock before you even leave your house. You only go to the machine when you know you have a full restock list. You've just turned a 30-minute chore into a 5-minute pop-in. That is how you scale your labor. That is how you turn a hobby into a highly efficient route-based logistics business. All right, let's bring this home. Is the vending machine business actually worth it? Yes, but with a massive asterisk. If you're looking for passive income where you set it and forget it, you will fail, the machines will break, the coils will jam, and the card fees will eat you alive. But if you're willing to treat it like the ruthless micro retail business it is, if you negotiate good locations, ruthlessly cut your operating costs, invest in telemetry, and scale up to 10 or 20 machines, this can absolutely generate serious cash flow. Just remember the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. In vending, 20% of your locations will generate 80% of your revenue. The pros know this, and they are ruthless about pulling machines from bad locations and moving them to good ones. If you have the hustle to find the good 20%, the math will work in your favor. If you want to know exactly how I pitch business owners to let me put a machine in their lobby without paying them a dime in rent, click the video on screen right now. I break down my exact script for securing prime real estate. Subscribe for more real money breakdowns, and I'll see you in the next one.